Spare Element, Episode 26, recorded 26 June, 2013.
Holy crap.
Wow. We are in the middle of it all.
Not only are we recording this June 2013, but it's June 26, 2013, the day that DOMA was overturned and Prop 8 was dismissed. And we're recording from the heart of the Castro.
Unbelievable.
We're at Ground Central.
Well, this is Vito.
This is Wolfie.
This is Tim. And tonight we have a guest element.
A guest host who was a guest with us before.
I'm Dave McHugh. Hi, everyone. Good to be back.
Yes, we love Dave. Thank you for coming.
Sure thing.
And Tim is here tonight. Welcome back from the ride. Congratulations on the ride.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome.
Amazing experience.
Awesome. Thanks for raising that money for AIDS.
Yes, my butt is still a little sore.
I'm sure it is. And Clay,
I was riding a bike. Get your mind out of the gutters.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. And Clay is missing tonight. He is seeing let's see, I screwed this up last time. The San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus special Harvey Milk presentation tonight. Mm-hmm. So he'll tell us about that next time.
And Ron isn't here tonight. He was coming straight from work, and with everything going on in the Castro, finding parking and get over here might be near impossible. So he may or may not be joining us this evening.
Right.
But we do have a guest this evening.
Hello, my name is Frank Ladra.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Frank, I've known you for quite. Well, I know I've known Chris for quite a while.
Mm-hmm. And Jonah, I think.
And yeah, actually, I've known Jonah longer than all of them. The reason that we asked Frank to come on tonight is he is part of a triad relationship, and I actually got a request from one of the listeners to talk about that because it's very interesting,
Great.
And to get some insight on it. And I guess also there's kind of like a triad club. if you know you have other triads that you hang out with.
We do, yeah. We all tend to just sort of flock to each other. I think also because Chris and Jonah and I have been together for, we're getting ready to hit 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow. A lot of folks come to us for advice and questions on how to make it work and what to do when they don't have anyone else to look to for guidance, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that I posted a symbol on Facebook that I found when I was doing research on triads?
I don't remember it, no.
On Wikipedia, there's a symbol that someone created, and it's a heart with kind of an infinity inside of it.
Oh, cool. Huh.
And it really hit me because when I was talking to Jonah about you guys, he said that his heart is so large and big, he can encompass more than one person.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's exactly, that's how it feels.
Yeah.
It feels good. It's sort of, I don't know, I feel it's sort of emotional in me when I think about it, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. You know, sometimes some people have more love than, they have the ability to love more than one person at the same time.
I know in the straight world that there's some stigma, but is there stigma in the gay world too?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we constantly get asked questions about, you know, how does that even work? Or is there any sort of imbalance or jealousy or any sort of awkwardness that happens? And, you know, I think in the case with our relationship, it's just like any other relationship. It's just multiplied by 3. You know, we have all the great love and romance, but we also have the bickering and disagreements too. But when it comes down to it, I mean, the reason why we've been so successful is because of our communication. That's really, I mean, hands down, it's
got to be huge.
Yeah. I mean, we talk until we're blue in the face.
I have trouble with one, too. Oh my God! Yeah. What color do you pick for the drapes?
We actually don't have any drapes for that reason.
I'm going to interrupt for just a second because there's something that we haven't acknowledged. If you guys are hearing some background noise on the recording, it's because the Castro is off the fucking hook tonight.
It is
a lot of stuff going on
completely crazy.
Standing room only.
And we're inside.
Oh, that's a nice outfit. What is that? He's wearing, I think he knitted that himself.
He's in stilts and he's got these long streamers coming off of his arms. It's all very purple.
It looks like some sort of weird...
He looks like one of those auto dealership things with
It's very festive.
You blow the fan and it's waving.
I was thinking Dr. Seuss, but yeah, that works too.
We're above Bank of America and Sunglass Hut here in the Castro and looking down on, what'd you say, thousands of people?
Yes, easily.
Thousands of people. I thought it'd be kind of cool if we recorded down in the lobby But actually, we opened the blinds up here, and it's a fantastic view. We'll take some pictures. And the energy is incredible. So we're definitely going to be talking about this historic day.
All right. So sorry to cut you off, Frank.
No, that's
Actually,
fine.
Right off the bat, I had a couple questions because I know, even within triad relationships, there's a few different flavors.
Right.
There's a closed triad relationship and then there's obviously the reverse of that, an open triad relationship. But I also know one triad where there's basically one person is sort of the common between the three, where there's a relationship between the two people and a relationship with one and another person, but the other two of the people don't really consider themselves partnered together.
Yeah, that's commonly known as a V.
Mm-hmm.
Just based on
makes sense.
The triangle, but only two sides.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredibly common. That's actually common in heterosexual relationships too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you consider some of the religions that support polygamy. In a lot of cultures, like outside of America too, that's been common for many years to have two wives.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cultures, actually, there's a wife that'll have two husbands.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's in more primitive cultures. I've only just heard of it recently, but I can't even think of what the term is. I don't know. It's something. It's polygamy. Horigamy.
Did you see it? Yeah, we're doing reverse discrimination against women, and we're looking at. Anyway,
it's just jokes.
Just jokes. Okay. Sponsors, please don't leave us.
We have sponsors. I was gone for like 2 recordings, and now we have.
No, we don't have sponsors. We're going to be talking about Paula Dean later. I just thought it'd be funny if we said. We don't want to lose our sponsors.
So and you guys, where do you guys fall on that spectrum?
Our relationship, we consider ourselves open. Open also has a bunch of different meanings too, and in our case, if we're gonna involve another person on top of the three of us or under the three of us,
but
we prefer to do that together.
Mm-hmm.
So we're open in the sense that we will play with others, but we do it together as a group.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I think is great. You discuss and you have rules.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We do. And I think in a situation like that, like the rule, to say the word rule kind of
guideline.
I think that we have preferences, ways that we sort of yearn to model particular behavior, but we're not perfect. So when mistakes happen or something doesn't feel right, that's where that communication piece comes in, and we immediately go right back and say, okay, family meeting, let's talk about this. This is how you made me feel, or this is how I'm detecting this kind of behavior from you. So we just talk about it, We just try and make it.
Do you have any kind of like date nights or, because I know Jonah travels a lot.
Recently, he's been traveling more for work. We used to have a date night that was like once a week, and it was a very specified night when I wasn't in school and when we knew that there were, the three of us committed to having that night off. This last semester, it got a little hectic for me, so I wasn't able to participate in that. But we still try and find time for each other when we can. We make sure that we know each other's schedules on a regular basis so that we can seize those opportunities if something comes up. And we're like, hey, let's go out and have dinner, just the three of us, outside of the Castro and, somewhere where we're not going to run into someone we know, which is hard to find.
I was going to say, that's hard to do. You guys know a lot of people.
Yeah.
Especially when it's 3 of you.
Right.
So, I was trying to wrap my head around, because you're saying when you have somebody else in to join you guys, that it's difficult to have. It's difficult to get 3 people's schedules together. What to speak of a 4th person's schedule to have somebody extra join you.
Which is why it's very, very, very rare.
Your heart is closed, Tim.
I'm just saying, it popped into my mind. I'm a logistics guy. What can I say?
What about like sister wives? And the Mormons? How does anybody bring that up to you guys?
Well, I actually was born into the Mormon Church, so I have a little bit of experience on that. But we left when I was a kid, so I don't really know any. I never knew any of the sister wife situation. But I think that there are plenty of people out there who have tons of questions about the way that our relationship worked.
I wrote a book called The Ethical Slut when I was evaluating a poly relationship, and my understanding is that as you with the third, the level of communication required goes up almost exponentially, because it's going just like one way, it's all two ways and three ways and whatnot. So I was wondering if you could comment on that.
I think in our situation, it absolutely opened. Well, I don't know. I mean, Chris and I were together first, and we had a unique way of just communicating with each other from day one. We almost had an unspoken language that was our way of communicating, but we weren't afraid to talk about subjects, and we were completely candid and open with one another, like in every single situation, regardless of what it was about, even if it made us look goofy or stupid or jealous or whatever the emotion came. And it was something that we tried not to take for granted, because it was, I mean, we really were lucky that we had that, because a lot of times in relationships, especially new ones, you have to really develop how you learn about each other and how you communicate to one another. But we had that from day one. And then when Jonah came along, it really wasn't supposed to be a romantic situation. It was just sort of a friend that we thought was really hot. We hung out with him, and, a night of, fun turned into a few nights of fun, and then coming over for dinner, and then more domestic things. And then it sort of hit us unexpectedly that we all wanted to be together without really that communication that I keep talking about. And so we had this like one day where we just sat and said, okay, what is this about? What are we doing? We don't have a name for it. We don't really want to call it anything. Let's just do it one day at a time. And then we'll come back tomorrow and we'll talk about it again. And then the next day, and then a week, and then 2 weeks. And then, here we are in 6 years. But it's because we come back when we feel the need to talk, we just do it.
That's awesome.
When you want to talk, talk. When you need to talk, absolutely talk. Even if it means everyone needs to sit down and shut up because I have something I needed to say.
Almost nothing that you're saying across the board seems to be any different between.
It's the same with a one-on-one relationship.
A functioning two-person relationship, and it's kind of extraordinary. Like it's all the basic principles just multiplied one more person.
I think that in many situations, like with the people that have approached us, asking, okay, we want to try this. We've been a couple for a while and we want to add someone to the relationship. I think that it's common. I'm not saying that everyone has been like this, but it's common for the relationship to look for that third person for alternative reasons, like they're trying to save the relationship, or one of them is crushing on that potential third, but the other one's sort of feeling like they need to catch up because they're like, I don't really feel that connection with them. And that can be such a huge problem. And it's why I've seen attempted triads fail, is because
it's not organic.
Yeah, you can't force a third into your relationship. It happens one day when you're not really noticing it. There's a person that's in your life and you both love them equally. And it doesn't really you don't have to sit down and say, okay, we're looking for a new partner. It's not like choosing a dog at the kennel. Or
would you say that because you were a former Mormon, or is that what you consider yourself?
I have experience in the Mormon church, but we left when I was like 8 years old, so I wasn't old enough to even really decide on what religion I wanted to be.
I was just curious if that had an impact on your decision to have a third in your relationship. Not really. Huh?
It honestly, it happened extremely organically. It was one day we were a happy couple, content in how we were, and the next day we had somebody else, and it felt like it had always been that way.
Well, one thing, when you said about the Mormon background, it struck me because you said you had 2 gay parents?
I do. Yeah, both of my parents are both gay, my biological parents.
Did they know that when they had a child?
My mother did, and she went to the Mormon church because she wanted the white picket fence and the 2.5 kids and the whole American dream, and the Mormon religion looked like the perfect place to make that happen because they're so all about
very family.
Values. Yeah. And my dad just happened to be in his quest for the perfect religion. He happened to be along at Mormonism at the same time, and they were sort of an obvious fit with their medical backgrounds, and so they got together and they had some babies. That's us. But yeah, my mom left my dad right before my 9th birthday to be with her wife, who she was with up until a year ago. So, and they're still best friends. They just didn't want to be partners anymore, I guess. But yeah, when you're a kid and you have.
So how long was it after that till your dad?
My dad came out to me my sophomore year in college. I kind of already knew that he was gay because, I had friends, in high school that were like, I saw your dad at the park. They were like, would give me a hard time about it, and I'd be like, okay, whatever.
It's like, and were you actually already experimenting at that point? So now I know not to go to that park.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He was extremely closeted about it. My sophomore year is when he came out of the closet. It was because he tested positive. And,
oh, wow.
And he decided to make that instead of a death sentence, he wanted to make it a life sentence, and decided to change his life completely and became a pillar of his community. He had a stand-up comedy show for a little while. And he's still, he's like 70, how old is he now? 77? And he just marched in the Fresno Gay Pride Parade.
Wow.
He's a trooper. I use march very loosely. He had his hover-round chair that he rode down the street.
Awesome.
Well, good for him.
But, yeah. So, yeah, that's my wonderful upbringing. But, when you're a kid...
an atypical family, wow.
When you're...
Modern family.
Uh-huh.
But, it wasn't cool in those days to have gay parents like it is now.
You mean it is cool now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, granted, we live in the bubble of San Francisco, but, like, having...
If you're gay, it's cool to have gay parents. If you're straight, I don't think it's so cool.
Well, I mean, it depends.
I doubt it's considered that cool unless the kids nowadays are that evolved, which I doubt.
Gay parents, I know I'm totally stereotyping when I say this, but I think gay parents tend to be a little bit more understanding with their kids and let them sort of experiment with different things and live their lives and sort of speak their minds versus, telling your kids, no, this is the way you're supposed to think and this is what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like to think that. I know we live in San Francisco where it's super liberal, and it's common to have gay parents because, well, here we are in San Francisco. But
the gay Becca.
I don't know. I was mortified by it when I was a kid. Now I'd love it. Gay parents.
Wow. Yeah, I saw that. I went, oh my God, that's incredible. I'd never heard of that.
Yeah, I've only met maybe in my life maybe 2 or 3 other people that have both of their biological parents gay.
It's pretty uncommon for reasons we can all imagine, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, one of my sisters always gives my mom a hard time. She's like, you had sex with Dad 3 times that you can't deny.
Yeah, so
my sister.
Are your siblings? Do you have gay siblings as well?
I have 2 sisters who are absolutely straight, and they both are moms. They have babies and stuff.
Now, how did what about their political leanings, real quick? You don't have to share it if you don't want to.
No, I think that they have just, that's been their entire life, is growing up with alternative parents, alternative families. So I think it would be really extremely detrimental to our family bond if they chose to,
be extreme Republicans.
Be against my happiness and my parents' happiness too. And I can't even think of a time that was ever a struggle. It was just kind of what we always knew.
You're lucky because I know a lot of gay guys who have, like, their parents are understanding, but then, they have one sister that decided to go all Texas Republican on them.
Right.
So are they just as open about your triad relationship? I mean, is that...
Yeah. No, and in fact, both Chris and Jonah are accepted into my family as family members. Mm-hmm. Both of my parents and my sisters love them. It's like they've been a part of the family always. That's how it feels.
Did that take a lot of explaining initially?
No. I mean, like, I actually, it was sort of outed by my uncle, my mom's brother, who sort of called it out at Thanksgiving or Christmas once and was like,
so everybody was there?
Yeah, we were all sitting around the table, and he just sort of blurts out, so what are you guys in, like a menage a trois or something? And,
that's awesome.
Everyone knew except for him, and so it was a good laugh around the table.
Did someone just go, yeah?
Yeah. I think he knew from all of our laughs, and he figured it out. He's a smart man. He knew.
How come you guys all have facial hair?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a totally mundane question? As a single person, I'm painfully aware that there are so many things in this world that are designed in twos and come in pairs. Mm-hmm. It's like you guys get on a Ferris wheel or the 2 seats on the airplane, or, there's that form you fill out and there's like the blank for you and the blank for a spouse or a domestic partner. First of all, you must have some stories about, there must be some things like this that happened to you guys that you're noticing that I'm not even thinking about. But how have you guys had difficulty fitting yourselves 3 into 2 and for anything like things I'm talking about, or just, do you see what I see? It's a single person. I'm always like, it's me and a blank.
Like a bed.
And you guys, it's a pair and a one-off in some cases.
I can't think of a specific situation where that was ever a problem.
I mean, for insurance, is someone's partner on insurance and someone else is left off because you only can have one domestic partner in insurance? Things like that?
Everyone has their own individual. I can't even think of a time where that was ever a situation. I guess we've lucked out in that. The three of us are pretty independent as individuals, and I think that's also important in our relationship, is to make sure that we, each have something of our own kind of going on and that we can stand on our own 2 feet.
Were you and Chris legally married before Jonah came along?
We were not. In fact, I don't think marriage was something that we'd ever even really thought of or considered. We both, come from backgrounds of relationships that, we thought were the one and didn't work out. And I don't know if marriage was ever something that we ever really thought about. And then when Jonah came along, we were like, okay, well, there goes that. Even if we had thought about it. But I don't know. I think that, today's situation with DOMA, and Prop 8 being defeated, we're extremely happy about it and super proud for our friends, because we have a lot of friends that are affected specifically, like with binational situations. A lot of friends around the world that, would really love to be here instead of forcing their American partner to move to their country.
Right.
So, anyway.
So does today's ruling really even have much of an effect on you guys? I mean, as far as your personal relationship?
Personally, no. Other than, like what I said, we're very happy for everyone around us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, someone made the joke to me earlier that, the Mormons spent all that money on Prop 8.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll spend something on trying to boost the polygamy
right
angle.
Yeah.
I don't know, you'll see me on the front lines, I guess, if that comes about. But
well, I know with the sister wives things, they have the issue with they get married to the one, and there's like the number one woman, and then the rest are their partners, and then they have to be equal and share everything, right? But legally, it's just really the two. So it's got to be uncomfortable. Is that why you're not even considering marriage?
We really try to keep our relationship equal, like amongst the three of us. And I think that while it might be a tax benefit or there could be some other benefits to it, I think that it just would feel weird for two of us to be legally bound and one sort of being not. I don't know. It's treading on thin ice to even go into that thought process. So I don't think we even consider it, really.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're happy with how we are right now. We're happy with the balance that we have with the three of us. So.
Sort of a benign question, but do you guys share a bed?
We do.
King size, I guess.
It's an Eastern king, which means it's wider, not longer.
I don't think I've heard of that.
It's like the standard king, not a cow king.
I've only heard a regular and cow.
Well,
There's an
Eastern
Eastern king is a regular king.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So do you have to import the sheets from East?
No. It's just well, but you'd be surprised here. And it seems like everyone has cow kings. It's hard to find
sheets, regular sheets here. I have a king too.
But we got a big old bed. I sleep in the middle.
It's a big bed for a
Now,
man.
another thing that you're into is, and you seem to have had an epiphany about becoming a photographer. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So for more than 14 years, I was in visual merchandising and retail management. And when the economy changed, I decided that I wanted to go back to school and find something new. And I really didn't know what I was going to do. I had an amazing guidance counselor who recommended a class that's offered here at CCSF, Learn 60, LERN 60, with Kathleen Mitchell.
You can give me the link. I'll put it on.
And it's career success and life planning. And when you go in, you think, oh, it's going to be one of those aptitude test classes where you take 50 questions that tell you what you're supposed to do for the rest of your life. And the teacher walked in and said that this is not any of that bullshit. I'm here to teach you to open your mind to opportunity and to re-explore your curiosities about things that you thought maybe you'd be good at when you were a kid. You know, like when we were all little boys, like a lot of our friends wanted to be firemen, right? And, maybe your mom or dad told you it was too dangerous or there's no money in it. And then you're like, okay, so I'm not going to be a fireman. But what would have happened if you would have actually stayed in that mindset and become that fireman, and maybe you were the fireman who saved 10 extra people from the Twin Towers before they went down? You know what I mean? Like, she threw these real situations out at us and said, why did you stop wanting to do those things? Who was the devil's advocate? And so I wanted to pick up a camera. I wanted to learn how to use it. And I wanted to be able to tell stories with my photography. It was like a fish taking the water. I started getting amazing stories and getting a lot of great feedback. I've won some awards for some of my stuff. Got accepted into the journalism program at SF State. which I start this fall as a transfer senior. Yeah, I love taking pictures. It's literally it's therapeutic for me, and it's fun, and I've really found that I can see life from a different perspective now. I really love to just capture those moments, like not on film, but on the camera. So yeah.
It is a rare, beautiful thing at our age to be able to redirect your life like that. I mean, I hope that you are loving every second of it, because, I mean, it is so hard to just look at it and say, like you were saying, on some level, we're kind of programmed inadvertently sometimes, I mean, I'm an actor and a comedian. I do all this stuff on the side, but I've never had the balls to just say, I should just go give it a try and try to do that, because in my head, I'm like, oh, I have too many bills and too much debt and I can't do that. And my lifestyle will be, and I can't, and it's like, all I can come up with is I can't. And it's like, this is amazing. Like,
you can. I'm telling you, you can do it. Like for anyone out there, even if you feel like you need to have like a job to support and stuff, sometimes all it takes is that one night class that you can squeeze in on a random Wednesday, and it'll wake you up to something. Like if you would have asked me even like 6 months before I picked up a camera, I would have said, no, that's not my world. But now it's obviously my direction, and it's something that I am super excited that I decided to like take a risk on. So
congratulations.
So,
thanks.
Good for you.
What there was just popped into my mind. You had said that you'd been accepted into a journalism course.
Yes.
I think it was like the Chicago Tribune or some newspaper that have laid off
all their
photography staff, and just have the reporters out there with iPhones.
Yeah,
to take photos for the newspaper. And say, are you kidding me?
That's part of the streamlining. That's happening in a lot of companies, where they're trying to get, what used to take 3 people to do a job, now they're trying to get it to do 1 person. Yeah. That's the great thing about this journalism program at SF State is, in order to get through their program, you have to be, trained in not just the photography element, but in the reporting and in the multimedia, how to use a video camera. So they're sending out these journalism students well-rounded, not just in one particular area.
Right. That's awesome.
So.
Well, we got to wrap it up for this half hour. We're going to take a quick break for the people that are listening on iTunes, for the people on bearradio.net. Catch us next week. Is it Tuesday?
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
So we see you next Tuesday?
Well, not in the first half. We didn't see you next Tuesday at the end of the second half.
So yeah, check us out on iTunes or bearradio.net. We'll be back in a few. Okay, so
we're back.
Whoop. Are we back on?
We're not really back.
Okay, next time you say that, wait till we have the headphones on.
Okay.
Oh, we are back.
Testing.
And we're back from our break.
That's so creepy when you do that.
And this is episode 26, and this is Vito.
This is Tim.
This is Wolfie.
This is Dave.
This is Frank.
Yes, and Frank is our guest today, and Dave is our guest host. He was a guest a few episodes back, and Frank, in the first half, talked about his triads and photography, and we're
in the Castro, and it's the night that Prop 8 and DOMA were defeated.
It's this historic night, and in the Castro, we're right in the middle of it, and overlooking Walgreens, if you're familiar. And we're on top of Bank of America, in between Bank of America and Sunglass Hut, and we're looking at thousands of people on the street.
Yeah. So if you hear some background noise, it's because it's a very festive atmosphere here.
And everyone seems to be getting along. No disorderly conduct that I can see. Yeah, give them a few more hours of drinks.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't seen any blowjobs yet.
I don't think there's any alcohol.
Well, that's the problem. That's why it looks no fun down there.
I assure you the bars are definitely packed.
Yeah, but they don't let you go on the street and drink.
And Ron and Clay aren't with us tonight. Clay is off seeing a production of the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus of Harvey Milk. And Ron couldn't get over here right after work because it's too crazy.
It's too crazy. Awesome. Well, Vito, decided to do a taste testing between 3 colas, and then we'll get into the DOMA and the Prop 8 stuff.
Because apparently,
I know it's silly.
With gay marriage legal now in California, you're feeling nostalgic for the 80s.
This is the reason I did this, because there is a new, it's all about artificial sweeteners now. Like, I don't really want to have anything to do with aspartame, a.k.a. NutraSweet. So I've been looking at alternative sweeteners like stevia and Splenda.
I don't know, the blue pouch, the pink pouch, the yellow pouch.
Right, when you're getting your iced tea, it's like you want blue, yellow, or whatever. Anyway.
Sweet and low. Oh, God.
So this new soda, it's actually been out for a while, but you kind of had to order it on the internet. It was really hard to find, and now it's in major grocery stores.
Agave nectar.
Safeway. Oh, yeah, agave nectar is a good sweetener. At Trader Joe's, yeah. And it's very expensive, though. It's $6 a six-pack.
Jeez.
For what?
It's this soda called Zevia. Zevia, all-natural soda. It's like a commercial. Sweetened with stevia.
It sounds like that yogurt that Jamie Lee Curtis is always hawking.
Yeah, is this going to give us diarrhea?
Yeah, Activia.
It cause anal leakage.
Perfect. 0 calories, no sugar. So I wanted to do a taste test to see if you guys can figure out which is which.
So to set the scene here, we each have a glass. We have 3 glasses in front of us, and Vito's going to instruct us to drink sample A, B, and C, and we're going to, what are we doing? We have to guess? Or
Yes.
Or we have to say which one we like the best? Or
Why don't we, first let's take a drink of the first one, and I want you to tell me about it.
Which is
real quick.
on the left or on the right?
We're going from left to right.
Left to right. Okay. Now, here are the 3 things that we're tasting. We're tasting Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke, and Zevia. Okay, so now that you've tasted, we don't have anything to cleanse your palate, by the way. So this
I do.
Water. Can anybody guess which one this is?
I think that's Diet Pepsi.
I want to taste the others first.
I have to taste them all, but I think that's Diet Pepsi.
So the Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke?
Okay, now let's taste the middle one.
Oh my God, that's cat urine. I'm pretty sure that one's cat urine.
That's Diet Coke.
No, that's going to be that Activia or whatever.
I think
Or cat urine. I'm going to go with cat urine.
So that wasn't one of the choices.
You know what? I'm going to take the sugar from this bag of peach rings and pour it in there and see if it tastes any better. Because I think it needs all the sugar. Oh my God, the sugar is bubbling like an acid.
Okay, cleanse your palate. Let's do number 3. Clay, and Ron, I wish you were here.
Disgusting.
Mmm.
Okay,
That
number
one's nice
3.
and sweet.
That one's nice and sweet.
In ABC, I'm guessing
I'm gonna say
Zevia, Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke.
Okay, that's
my
Frank.
guess. Yeah.
I'm going to say Diet Pepsi, Zevia, Diet Coke.
Okay, that's Tim.
I'm saying Diet Coke, Zevia, Diet Pepsi.
That's Wolfie.
And I'm with Tim. I think it's Diet Pepsi and then cat urine. And that's a female cat in heat.
Oh.
Well, I wish we had a prize, because if we had the prize, Wolfie would have won.
What was
It's
it?
Diet Coke on the left, the new Zevia, the
Cat urine, right?
Diet Pepsi.
I didn't. I thought the first one was.
Well, Zevia's pulling out their sponsorship of the show for sure.
Another one bites the dust.
Darn, they just
Okay,
sent over
so-
5 cases for you.
Well,
That was our
we didn't
first.
do that during the first segment when I called women in a via whore.
Yeah, exactly. So that was our first interactive taste test. I think it went pretty well. Anyway, so let's just comment real quick on Zevia and then move forward. So the Zevia in the middle, Dave did not like it.
It tastes better with the peach ring sugar, though.
Okay, with the candy sugar in it.
That's sweetened with stevia.
So that's all natural.
What do they make the sugar from?
I believe it's from the stevia plant.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
not cane sugar then.
No. Cane sugar is very popular right now. They call it throwback to the cane sugar. But it's supposed to be a lot better for you. It doesn't trick your system into thinking that you've taken something in sweet and then increases your insulin level, which I think is the problem with the diet sodas.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What's the one isn't there a sugar that's derived from bananas?
I haven't heard of that
I want
one.
to say like Splenda, maybe.
Not Splenda.
Or
No, I don't think so.
one of those alternative sugars, though, is derived from banana.
We'll have to look
sugar.
into that. Well, anyway, thank you for participating. So that is Zevia. It's very expensive, and it's very natural, and it's becoming much more widely available.
I will say, typically for stevia, it has a weird sort of aftertaste that I really don't like, and I don't get that with the soda. I'm surprised I don't. It's not that I think it's good, but it's better than I was expecting.
Well, when I was a child, my mother used a soda can as an ash can, and I had this not so funny moment. But as the exterior, I reached down and put down my soda. Then I picked up her soda can and I drank ashtray. And I would say
So you were
that
traumatized.
Zevia reminds me a little bit of ashtray, and I will never forget what that tastes like.
Gross.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I certainly wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
Well, it comes in other flavors too, so keep an open mind because it's definitely not healthy for you to drink these other sweeteners, aspartame especially, in my opinion.
It's harder for your body to metabolize than regular sugar too.
Yeah, it's somewhere there's new research. Of course, this is extremely unscientific that you actually don't lose weight when you drink these.
Yeah.
So
drink water. Drink water. It's a lot better. So let's get back to the subject at hand with DOMA and Prop 8 and all that. We're looking out the window here, and there's lots of people waving flags, rainbow flags, and HRC flags, and
procession of HRC flags.
Yeah, nice little parade.
Pretty cool.
And I thought, this is like so spontaneous, but I found out that Frank said there's been people working on this. They just didn't know exactly when it was going to happen, so it's kind of like a pop-up event, really.
Yeah, they had specific artists and performers that were going to be performing and for this momentous
that were already
event.
slated.
They were already slated. They just didn't know what day it was going to be.
Or if it was going to happen, really.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that regardless of the turnout, I think they wanted to still have some sort of, because, even if the turnout had gone the other direction, there would be people out here rallying and supporting each other.
They'd probably be marching somewhere, probably.
Right.
Well, I mean, a friend of mine who you guys probably know, Sean Chapin, probably most of you guys know him. He had been posting on Facebook for the past couple of days that there was this this video that he had produced and was waiting to release on YouTube that was basically about, Prop 8 being overturned or dismissed. And just, I wasn't feeling as optimistic as he was. And not that I was necessarily looking at it glass half full, half empty. I wasn't ready to make any sort of assumptions about what was going to happen. I was really concerned for him that, what if this doesn't go our way?
Yeah.
That, how fucking crushed are you going to be?
I think on some level we've learned to protect ourselves because this kind of, not even just this, but I mean, we've had presidential elections, in the last, many, many years ago, where you just get excited about something and it goes the other way. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm with you. I woke up this morning thinking I was not in a hurry to go check the internet because I just assumed, it's not going to happen.
Well, the rulings yesterday, right, kind of discouraged people.
Voting rights Act.
Sure, the voting rights, piece of it.
It wasn't just that. It was last week, too, where that case around the Fifth Amendment. Mm-hmm. For those of you that don't know, there was a case before the Supreme Court where there was a guy who was tried for murder and found guilty, but part of what had happened, they had this guy in for questioning voluntarily. So he was in for questioning. They didn't read him his Miranda rights, and the guy had a shotgun at his house, and same kind of shotgun cartridges that they found at the scene of the crime. And so they're asking him questions about the guns, stuff like that, and they eventually got to ask him, so did you kill these guys? And the guy, he just became silent and stared at his feet. But with all that, they used that during the trial, that he, didn't answer, just stared at his feet, and he ended up getting convicted for murder. Now, my thing isn't whether or not he, did the murder, it's that what was used there, because the lawyer put forward the case like he was being silent. He was observing his Fifth Amendment right. But what the ruling was, being that he didn't specifically evoke his Fifth Amendment right and say, I'm pleading the Fifth, he wasn't covered by it. And the Supreme Court upheld it, and said that, no, being that he didn't evoke it, he's not protected by it. Which to me sets a very dangerous precedent, because it means that, any of our rights granted to us by the Bill of Rights and the Constitution of the United States, you don't have them unless you say, hey, I have them. Which it's an unalienable right, and to have to evoke it, to claim it, to be protected by it is bullshit.
That's scary. That's really scary.
So that happened, and then there's the Voter Rights Act, which got all fucked up, and so this morning I wasn't feeling very optimistic either.
Yeah, I got up, waited till like 7:05, put on Good Morning America, bam, floored and elated, and was beside myself. What can I say? I'm very happy. I mean, it's incredible to be up here looking down on the Castro and all these. I was down there for a little while, and we're going to be down there obviously when we're done and participating, but it's just like, this is a really great spot.
Mm-hmm. And seriously, what epic timing to have this happen like right at the beginning of Pride weekend here in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
Lots to celebrate about.
It's going to be amazing this weekend.
My liver is already hurting.
Yeah, we're having discussions. It's like, okay, well, I really don't want to drink tonight because we're going to be drinking next weekend because it's Pride. Do we save ourselves?
Save our calories.
Save our livers.
Exactly.
Now, you do realize with DOMA that they only struck down part of the law, just the part of the law that denied, prevented the federal government from offering gay, lesbian, transgender, presumably, employees benefits. But the part that says states don't have to recognize other states' marriages, I think that's still in place.
Right. Yes, there's still a lot of work to do, but it's definitely a move forward, especially with Prop 8.
Right. So from state to state, it's still a little wonky, but as far as getting married here in California and have it being federally recognized, that's a go.
This is my understanding of it. They basically dismissed the whole Proposition 8 case. That means the decision of District Judge Von Walker from here in San Francisco stands, and he basically struck the damn thing down.
Right, oh, that's right. Now
Yes.
I remember the analysis. The analysis was he didn't stand on merit. He was like an individual, and he didn't have the standing to do it, and they struck that down. And that's what stopped the law, stopped the marriages.
Okay, now I'm remembering the details. So
Normally we have a good internet connection here. We actually have all the facts at our fingertips, but with so many people here in the Castro, it's very hard to get online.
especially with a cell phone.
Yeah.
I can hardly get anyone on Scruff right now. It's just miserable. I gotta tell you. I'm going through Scruff withdrawal. I haven't been able to use it for 90 minutes.
Poor
He's
thing.
twitching.
You
Driving
poor
me crazy.
thing.
That's
What are
funny,
you
my
gonna
growler's
do?
blowing
I don't know. I'm
You're
gonna
probably
have
just going to have to go wander around all those people out there and just sulk.
I guess that's the plan.
Oh.
Growler.
I want to share with you. Today I was at work, not partying around town like some people.
Who are you again?
I'm Dave.
We should all say our names again.
And so I was at work, so I wasn't working. I was on the internet all day reading about this, and I across the day, because I knew I'd be here, I captured a few comments or status updates on Facebook of friends of mine, which I thought were either funny or poignant or interesting, quirky observations on the events of the day. So I'm just going to read a few of them to you guys now. I'm going to give first names of the people since I don't have their permission to give their status updates. But my friend Wilson wrote, "The gays should get today off. As we can get married now, I thought I should just call in, quote, single but looking, unquote." And my friend Ron, who is a mid-40s single man, wrote, "One little known effect of today's rulings is that I am now legally an old maid at the state and federal level," which I thought was pretty good. My friend Ross wrote, "I'm still holding out hope that SCOTUS rules that this humidity is unconstitutional." Because it's, for those of you that aren't in San Francisco this week, it is unpleasantly humid here the last 2 days. It's disgusting.
Compared to other places, it's very mild.
I know, but we're all a bunch of wusses. We can't handle it. Of course, there's the logical divorce jokes. I have people writing stuff like, "Can't wait to get divorced." My friend Randy wrote, "You have to love the sound bites coming from the depths of homophobia land today. Quote, 'This isn't over,' unquote. Are you planning to take this to the intergalactic court?" Here's two from my friend Dwayne. "Here's to ignoring another Old Testament recommendation."
Wow.
And as we alluded to earlier, this being the Wednesday before Pride in San Francisco, which is typically a crazy long weekend as it is, he writes, "This weekend's gonna be gay cray."
Gay cray.
So I just wanted to share those with you guys. I thought it was a really fun day for social networking in this town.
Well, I knew it was we were gonna talk about this tonight, so I specifically decided I'm gonna watch the different networks, including Fox, to see what their reaction was gonna be. And I found it very interesting. It wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. What they did was they pretended almost that it didn't happen. And in the bottom, the little ticker, it said what was happening.
Right.
But they were
talking about the
talking
football
about
player, right?
Yeah,
they were talking about yesterday's ruling.
Oh, of course they were.
Well, there was that, but no, during all that was happening, they were covering Hernandez, the tight end from the Patriots, getting arrested for murder.
Yeah.
That was their headline story, and the Prop 8 DOMA stuff was like, oh yeah, and this happened. But back to Hernandez.
Yeah, it really was. They minimized it. They minimized it big
Any
time.
talk of the abortion filibuster either?
I don't know about on Fox.
I saw that online.
No, but
Yeah, it happened last night.
Yeah, I saw the article on it.
But yeah,
it seems
so
to me like that
it
would be
was-
another thing that Fox would just like maybe put on the ticker tape down at the bottom and not really make a big deal.
No, they wouldn't even
they're
mention
a
it. What are you
feel-good
talking
news
about?
channel.
It's long. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So and yeah, I loved it. CNN was all over it.
Yeah.
All over it. Coverage and different, anchors and different spots and just completely all over it.
Did any of you guys get misty today?
A little bit.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I didn't outright cry. I was, but yeah, there's definitely some emotion behind it. For me, it's a little bit weird because I still need to get a divorce. So, I got married to my ex on, 2 days before Prop 8 was voted on. So now Prop 8's been overturned, and I'm probably getting the paperwork going this Friday. So 2 days before, 2 days before it was voted on and passed, we got married, and now 2 days after it was overturned, I'm starting divorce paperwork.
Wow.
Funny how life works like that.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know, and it's just sort of weird. I mean, I've been with James for about a year and a half now, and just my divorce stuff is just something that's one of those tight ends or loose ends, rather. You're tight ends. What am I thinking about? So, yeah, just one of those loose ends that I haven't been able to focus on getting it done.
It's called baggage.
Yeah.
Do you need a Zevia? do you need some Zevia?
Zevia, the all-natural soda.
Why,
It'll make you feel better. You want a soda?
Is there some as long as it doesn't promote anal seepage, we're good.
Hey,
How long is it going to be until
that'll help
there's
that
a
divorce go fast.
How long is it going to be until there's a TV show, Gay Divorce Court? That's what I want to know. Because I cannot wait for that show. It's going to be amazing, right? I cannot wait.
I'm surprised there hasn't been something on Saturday Night Live for that yet.
Yeah.
They'll take that court
Wait until the
sound,
Saturday.
that court music sound, but they'll throw in some circuit beat to it. Like,
It'll start out. Exactly.
So who wants to
You're
take any
exactly
bets
right.
how long it is before Saturday Night Live comes up with a gay divorce court?
You know what? I'm going to say not this week because I'm sure that they do all their writing on Monday and Tuesday, and we can't change anything now. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, yeah, they do it the whole week, the sketches and everything.
Well, are they still
they're
in
on
production
season right now, I
Yeah, I was going to say they're probably done for the
so
summer.
for
That's a good
their season opener, I guarantee you that they'll do something. Hi, y'all.
Well, that was a nice transition to guess who? PD? Paladin?
Yeah.
So explain what exactly is the issue with her.
She's a racist bitch.
Oh no!
Let's let the courts decide.
She handled this. This is a PR nightmare from her. She must have not had a PR firm to take care of her. She should have just been quiet. If she would have just been quiet, it could have been taken care of in the court, and then it'd be done. But she went online. She did a statement, 2 video statements.
She was on Matt Lauer today.
And she did Channel 2 in the morning.
Just making it worse.
That's like the pot interviewing the kettle with those two.
Was it Matt Lauer? Was it on the Today Show? Or what
The
was
kettle
she
of
on?
color. Let's just say
Kettle of color.
Oh my God!
I'm just saying.
Just say.
I don't want to upset our sponsors. Too late.
Yes, we've already lost elbow grease.
Yes, KFC just dropped us.
Wolfie liked that one. Well,
What? I like fried chicken. It's delicious.
I love it too.
so it's a nightmare. I guess someone sued her. It's a former employer
No, it was
for
sued
saying
her
the
brother.
N-word.
Sued her brother, and then she gave a deposition in regards to it, and saying that she uses the N-word from.
Oh my God! It's even that remote from her, and she's still got in all this trouble.
Yeah,
Because she's-
she was had to give a deposition for her brother getting sued.
Well, that's terrible. It wasn't even about her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but now all her employees are coming forward saying like, "Oh yeah, she's a bitch."
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
I
says
think she's
N-word
a
this
sweetie.
and then that and this and that and the other and yeah.
That's just terrible.
So I don't know. I mean, it's not like I ever watched her show. It's not like I ever made any of her recipes. I just don't have that many needs for any, batter fried butter.
Well, I know her son's doing a show where
That was
she's
funny.
getting-
Batter fried butter.
Crickets,
I've
tumbleweeds.
made plenty of her recipes. I like her food. I mean, you don't want to eat it every single day, but it's fun to make, and
Yeah, it's comfort food.
it's delicious. I mean,
Her son's redoing all of her recipes less fat.
because there's so much more too. If you want to add into the Paula Deen thing, like she came out with that. What was that diabetes scare or something last year?
And she lost a bunch of weight.
Right, but she had already signed on with some major pharmaceutical company for some diabetic medication, like that before, like she signed on or something. I mean, there was some other kind of skeezy
Like
thing
a
going on. Where
Conflict of interest, major conflict of interest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, so the sun is finally starting to go down.
I don't know.
For those of
Otherwise,
us-
There's someone wrapped in an American flag, and isn't that illegal? I don't think you're allowed to wear a flag as clothing.
If they touch the ground, yeah.
I'm going to go arrest him.
Oh, there's some sisters
He's not
down
that-
there.
He's not that cute. I don't think you want to.
There's someone wrapped in a pride flag. Now that's legal, I believe.
Well, no, we're down the hill, and it's still packed. So up the hill must be completely packed.
I'm looking for somebody that's scantily clad, and I don't really see anyone.
It's a pretty tame party. I mean, this is no like.
It's early yet. though.
Yeah,
It's early.
I know, but it's no like. This is not like a door alley or. It's just Foster Street.
No, there's no flogging or anything like
Or else
that.
I don't see anybody being led around on a leash.
It's no
and-
Tuesday night at Truck. Not that I've ever been there ever.
All right. Let's wrap this up and get in our back scratches so we can go enjoy ourselves with this amazing crowd out here. This is Tim. First and foremost, James and my partner, it's been an amazing past couple months with you, few months. The AIDS ride, ALC, was absolutely fucking amazing. And everybody that I rode with, everybody that I trained with, everybody that I met, everybody that was a part of donating, to my fundraising for it, just thank you. I can't be more appreciative than I am. So, and our guests and guest hosts and elements, thank you guys. Cheers.
Wolfie?
I'd like to give a big back scratch to everyone here, guest hosts, the elements that couldn't be here, Clay and Ron, and very big back scratch to everyone who took part in the defeat of DOMA and Proposition 8. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, them too.
That's a good point. Yeah, this is Vito. I'm going to go ahead and back scratch them. The legal team did an amazing job. They really did.
I've got one more to add.
All right, go ahead.
I want to thank everybody for from the Bears of San Francisco for the last couple of years. I am no longer on the board. I'm no longer the president as of the end of May. So, thank you for a great couple of years, guys.
This is Vito. My back scratches. I want to back scratch my boyfriend Tarek for putting up with me, and I'd also like to back scratch some new listeners. Well, first, our guest Frank. Thank you so much. We learned so much about the triads and fulfilling your dream. It was awesome. And Dave, you funny. And I'd like to back scratch some new listeners that I've run into. Roland, that I met at Barracuda. Scott, that I met here in the Castro. Chris and John, cute couple, really cute couple, that I met at Walgreens. And Russ, Ernie, that I met at the 440 today. I had a little beer on the way here. I was a little early. There you go.
Okay. Dave.
This is Dave. I want to thank all you guys for having me back. I want to thank, to echo everyone's thoughts, thank all these people that have done all this work to get us what we got today, which was awesome. And just a few friends who I won't name who I would say have gotten my gears turning in the last few weeks about getting back into the comedy scene, which, as you guys know, I did a lot of for a decade all over the U.S. and Canada. And it's starting to pick up again. I'm starting to think about shows and scripts and getting back into it. So hopefully I'm back in the scene pretty soon.
That's great news.
Yeah.
So this is Frank. I just want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to get on here and to maybe talk about, this stuff to somebody who maybe didn't have an understanding of the way my relationship works, or just to get people thinking that, there are a variety of different types of people out there, and when it comes down to it, we all just want love. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. And of course, thank you to the people who are listening out there, and thank you to the people who made the decision for going toward more equal rights in our country, because I think we all deserve an equal opportunity to be happy. So, thank you guys.
And don't forget Jonah and Chris.
And thank you, Jonah and Chris, for supporting
And
me.
most of their elements saves our
I
relationship.
love you guys so much.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Bear Element episode 26. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and leave some comments and review us on iTunes.
See you next Tuesday. Clay normally says that.
Nice.
All right, take care, everybody.
Bye.
Visit us at bearelement.com.